Hello everybody, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And today I come to you from a bush location close to home. So no harbour views today, no spectacular water views, no swimming pools, but we're in a peaceful location, and we're going to do a walk and talk. I'm just going to go on a bit of a bushwalk and chat to you about a book summary. Today we're going to come to you and chat to you about a book summary and pick out a couple of points from that book summary which may be of interest. The book author is a man by the name of Behrendt, and the book is an absolute classic. It's been around for a while, and I think a movie's been made on this book. And the book is entitled "He Really Isn't Into You." He really isn't into you. And it's a interesting book on relationships, mainly geared for women, of course. But as a man, I just learnt so much from reading the book and being able to identify with things. And I guess over the years I've seen many examples of people in relationships being troubled by the relationships, and really asking themselves, is it worthwhile? Is it going anywhere? Is he really into me? Or is he just passing the time? Just let me pick up the mic. My mic just dropped off. Just bear with me. Here we go. Sorry about that. So where did we leave off? So yeah, it's very, very important to get the mic right. Here we go. I think that should be better now. So as you can see, it's unscripted, unplanned, unorganised, but that's what makes it beautiful. So we can walk and talk, be authentic, and cover off difficult topics without putting too much thought into it and making it awkward. So as I said, over the years there have been lots of people, and we all have examples of friends who are troubled in their relationships with their partners, and 1 year leads to another, blends into another, and before you know it, they've been together for quite a while, and they're unsure in terms of whether or not it's going to work out, or if there's any future in that relationship. So the author of this book come up with a few guidelines in terms of how to look for signs and to work out whether or not your partner is into you, and then to make your own decisions in terms of what you want to do to further or to cease the relationship. So of the items there, I guess the first one which really makes sense in terms of working out if somebody's into you or not is, are they always trying to contact you? Are they interested in talking with you? Are they interested in spending time with you? Are you top of mind for them? Because at the end of the day, we've all been in love. We've all been in love, and we've been along that path. And you know that once you have somebody in your life, you tend to think about them all the time. You don't just think about them when you're itching for some action, or it's Saturday night, or you're drunk. You're basically thinking about them all the time. So you wake up in the morning and you're thinking of your partner, and the last thing you think about when you fall asleep at night is your other half there. So That's an example of the sort of commitment, the mental commitment that's required in order to assess whether or not your partner is into you. So the first point, in summary, is basically, is the person who you're interested in, or you're seeing, or you're being with, are they always trying to contact you, or is it the other way around? Are you always on the phone trying to contact them? Are you always trying to organise get-togethers? Are you always taking the lead in the relationship? Because if you're taking the lead in the relationship all the time, chances are that the other person is either happy to tag along or doing it, just doing it because they have to, or they feel sorry for you. Anyway, that's something to consider, something to contemplate, and it's something that the author harped on in his book. The other things that he talked about, and we touched on them before, is does your partner or does your boyfriend want to hang out with you? Does he like your friends? Does he like your social circle? Does he like doing the things that you do, or does he do them under duress? It's an important thing to understand. You don't want people hanging around you if they don't like the things that you do. What else is there? The other thing they talked about in the book there, if the man's married, do you really think he's into you, or is he just passing his time? Is he just using you as a distraction to his married life? The bottom line, as the author says in the book, is that very, very few men actually leave their wives, leave their families, to go and marry another woman. They're happy to spend time with other women, to chat to them, to take them out, to have romantic moments, potentially. But that's where it ends. They're not going to be, according to the author, that is. These are not my ideas, but according to the author, he's saying that they're not going to throw away years of marriage. They're not going to go through a messy divorce. They're not going to go through the anguish of bringing up children in separate homes and tearing apart the wealth that they've amassed. So that's something to consider. Just because you've got men throwing themselves at you, it could only be just for their sexual desires. It may not be anything more than that. They may not be into you, in more ways than one. And I think we've learnt over the years that the biggest con men are the most charismatic. They're the big talkers, the big promises. They say all the right things for the ladies, and they basically seduce the ladies into thinking that they're the most important woman in the man's world, when in actual fact it's not quite that. It just seems like that, but it's not quite like that, according to the author. It's quite traumatic, actually, reading the book and just putting on the hat of a young woman who is seeing a man, or has a boyfriend, or has a partner for a number of years, and not quite knowing whether or not it's going to last or it's going to go anywhere. It would be quite traumatic, I would imagine, and I'd hate to be in a position like that. So the other things that they talk about in that book there, in terms of, are they really into you? If the man's a jerk, if he's rude, if he's abusive, if he disappears, if he likes hanging out with his mates all the time, I think that probably covers most of them. But you know, if the behaviour is erratic, then chances are they're not into you. Now, marriage is a serious thing. Now, being together with somebody for the rest of your life is a very, very serious thing, and you basically need, and I'm talking from experience now, you basically need to be into your partner, not for a day, not for an hour, not for a session, but for a whole lifetime, for the rest of your life. You need to be together, growing, developing, and sharing moments with family, with friends, with each other, with your children. It's a dedication. It's a dedication of love, which few people really appreciate or understand. But once you've got it, once you've had it, once you've seen it, and hopefully many of us have seen love and dedicated love from our parents, our grandparents, our uncles, our aunts, our friends around us, the people who surround us. So yeah, it's an important thing. So I guess the question is, what do you do if you are not sure if somebody's into you? Now that's a hard question, and I wouldn't know where to start answering a question like that. But the author does also mention that there are exceptions to the rule, that even if men display these different sort of behaviours that we talked about there, that they don't call, they disappear, they're jerks, they only want to see you when they're drunk. Sometimes people grow out of those sorts of behaviours and grow up and become the best husbands, the best partners, the best friends, the best everything. You just never know. So what do? It's a hard one. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's future is different. But the one thing that I believe, and the one thing that I've practiced in my life, and I say, even if everybody in the world were divorced, I would still seek love. I would still try and find my wife and marry her and spend the rest of my days with her. Anyway, let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, stay in tune with your intuition, and keep testing your relationship. Do your due diligence, and be sure before you commit your life. But once you commit, once you decide to commit, then my recommendation is give it everything, because you got one good chance to make the most of it. Sometimes you get a second chance, but my recommendation is do whatever you have to do to make it work, and be a role model to everybody else, to give everybody else hope, and for them to continue to give you hope. Anyway, Yassas, take care. Bye for now from Jim's 5am Club, and I look forward to chatting to you again tomorrow. Yassas. Ciao.